Hello, welcome to TV Africa and of course our story. My name is Monologue, and this is where we normally talk about our story, the African story. I'm honored to have one of the great men of on this continent, Africa, our brother Kanyike. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How have you been?
I've been very well, Mulangida. Very, very well. Nothing better than being in Africa at this time when things are really changing for the better.
I do know that you're the director of Pan-African Women Organization.
Right. I specifically am the director of projects.
Director of projects.
The Pan-African Women Organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the Pan-African Women Organization?
Well, the Pan-African Women Organization is the oldest women organization in Africa. It was started back, officially launched in Tanzania by His Excellency Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, with other women, the women of Africa who traveled to Africa for the launch. That means that the movement had been on before the launch.
Okay.
It had started way back as early as the 1900s, 1900, where women were engaged in the effort to support their men who were fighting against colonialism. Took, I think, more solid shape around 1948, where, of course, the struggle for independence had just was starting. Africans were waking up to the reality that they're under slavery in their own countries, and the men were out there fighting. The women also decided not to just sit back, because many of their men were at the front lines. Many of them had been incarcerated. So they said no, they had to take it upon themselves to go out there and also form a front to support their men. Essentially, that's the origins of the Pan-African Women Organization. All the efforts through the 50s culminated in 1962 when the launch happened in Tanzania. And then, of course, the focus back then was more liberation struggle, supporting the liberation struggle, supporting the fight for independence, right? And, of course, over time now, with the next generations that have taken over the movement, there is a focus on empowering women for gender and equal rights, of course, also, as they empower women, they also empower the men to understand the new realities of Africa, where everybody can participate in the development of Africa. So women being empowered also empowers men. Many times people ask me why a man in a women's organization, and I tell them, listen, the organization has what we call gender parity. It does not just support the women. Of course, the focus is on empowering the women, but also empowering the men to understand the new realities of the woman today. So it goes hand in hand.
When you look at the struggle, the struggle for African unity and of course fighting colonialism, all that kind of stuff, we used to see or to hear names of men coming up. We never knew that even women could actually fight colonialism. What are some of the prominent names that actually an African or someone who's watching can return and look at and say, oh, this one was also in the fight against colonialism?
I mean, in Uganda, we had people like Pamela Kisasonkole. Pamela Kisasonkole, who was, I think,
from the royal family.
The royal family, right?
Yes.
We had ladies like Rhoda Kalema. We had pioneers, people like, in the later generations, we have people like, the first vice president, woman vice president in Africa, especially We have many people that have actually been part of this that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a whole bunch of people that have been part of the women movement that have supported.
Do you have any achievements so far?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the achievements, first of all, in the early days, the women organization supported the fight against colonialism and achieved the bigger achievement at the time was the independence of the African countries, right? There was a bigger fight, especially in the later stages, fight against apartheid, where we have women like Winnie Mandela and other people in Rhodesia who fought against colonialism that was in the later part of the past century. And today, our focus, we have 7 priority areas that include peace and security, education, we have agriculture, water sourcing, and inculcating Pan-Africanism in the general population. So some of the things that we're doing mainly today are supporting conflict resolution, and also because Uganda is a host to the largest number of refugees.
Something 1.7 million.
1.7 million. And many times these people just are running away from conflict. And Uganda's policy is the best policy. And that's why people feel comfortable at home. Because we go in and empower these refugees, because they come from their countries. Many of them are professionals, just disrupted out of their comfort zones. They live in difficult conditions here. So we go in and try to make them as comfortable as they can be.
And now there's the
actual program we're trying to run now is called Refugees in Agriculture.
Refugees in Agriculture.
So essentially we're partnering with government, and that's what we do mostly. We partner with governments to support processes that can improve.
How do they do that? You give them land?
Yes, absolutely. We partner with government. They offer us maybe land around the refugee settlements that is parceled out to refugees, and then the refugees are empowered with implements and inputs for doing their own agriculture. Growing their own food, animal husbandry, maybe give them a cow or some goats so that they can be self-reliant and not just sit around waiting for aid, right? So essentially that's the empowerment that we're talking about. We give them supporting structures like schools where we empower the teachers or the teachers among them to teach their own people. So essentially it's an ongoing process. And the project is still in the offing. So I feel that this is going to have a bigger impact on mindsets, changing mindsets, where refugees are not seen as
just a burden, sort of.
A burden. They will be fending for themselves. The local communities around them will be more appreciative of them, because they'll be able to, even the local communities will be able to benefit from the improvement of livelihoods for the refugees. So
have you tried to empower? Because when you look at, for example, the girl child, right from schools, and then you look at the image of our ladies, the African women. Some of their image actually has been abused. When you talk about an African woman, people are going to look at her as someone who is down, someone who is going to be used. So have you tried to uplift the girl child right from the schools, or just looking at the women up there?
Absolutely. You see, POWER, or the Pan-African Women Organization, is making big leaps in improving images of the African woman. We have local chapters in most of the schools and universities, where we have gone on to utilize these as channels for information, confidence building among women, telling them that, of course, the African woman is the most beautiful woman on the planet. And of course, with the program that we're actually pushing now, the African Monologue Challenge, we build confidence in these women to be able to stand up and speak and adapt to, the good African values that we have always espoused, as Africans. That, of course, because the narrative is now mainly driven by the Western media, and that's what the picture the world has that the African woman is somebody to downtrodden.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
We're trying to change that narrative now so that people can speak up and tell the African story the African way, especially the women.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
tell the African story the African way in the sense that, yes, we, you may look at us as traditional, but these values are the ones that have been handed down to us, and they're real African values. There's nothing like African values anywhere else in the world. You know, we espouse family.
Yeah.
We know what family is. A man and a woman get married, they have children.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? And those are the things that we push. We of course, the distortion now, saying that you can do whatever you want. We're trying to say, no, please.
Yeah.
Let us hold on to our African values.
Yes.
A woman is somebody to be respected.
Sure.
As has always been in the African setting. We work with men to understand that in even today's setting, there's more respect that is required for the woman.
Okay.
Many women have come up, especially here in Uganda, that have added a lot of value to our development.
Okay.
So essentially, we should look at women.
You talked about the
yeah.
African Monologue Challenge.
Yeah.
What is it about? What is it all about?
The African Monologue Challenge is a contest that actually, this is the second edition that's happening here in Uganda. The first edition was held in Ghana, and the vision of the African Monologue Challenge is to empower Africans to tell their own stories the African way.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, yes.
Essentially, like I said, the narrative has always been controlled by Western media about Africa. So everything that is out there in the world about Africa has been controlled by Western media, where they've been telling the world that Africa is a destination for poverty. There's people dying of hunger.
Yes.
There's wars over there.
People hang on the trees like monkeys.
Live with animals, and there's no infrastructure development. People still live in those like
ancient days,
right? But
they live in caves.
Yeah. And that this is where AIDS and Ebola come from.
Yeah.
And you can tell even from
that every disease actually.
Like even if there's a little bit of an issue, like where people are trying to say speak up, they'll send warnings that, oh, please avoid going to Kampala. There's going to be bloodshed. And nobody ever stands up to tell the actual African story. Sure. That there's so much going on in Africa today. So much development that's happening. Positive things that are happening in Africa are never put on the media. Everything,
negative.
Like almost 99% of what the world knows is negative about Africa. Yet Africa, I can tell you, is the richest continent in the world.
Yes.
It has the best culture. It has the diversity in terms of people and languages. Beautiful languages, our beautiful names, our cultural values. There's nothing comparable to this in the world, and nobody ever says anything about that. All you see is people coming here to serve a lion, and then they say this is what we need to be doing for Africa.
For Africa, yeah.
And not showing that, there's people in Africa who can actually do those things. And there's a lot of stories that are going to be told in these short monologues by the young people.
Okay.
Who today's generation is going to be telling the story to inform the same generation of how beautiful Africa is, so that we can become, first of all, as Africans, more confident and empowered to speak up about the realities in Africa today. It's not
How many participants are we having?
Well, in this contest, it starts out with a virtual submission of monologues. And there's a process of elimination. We have judges that do the elimination until we get to a manageable number that can be brought together. So right now, today, there's 10 contestants. 10 contestants from 10 different African countries.
Is that a good representative for Africa, as from 54 states to only 10?
All these countries participate, and the elimination narrows it down to the finalists.
Why eliminate? Yet we want to.
It is a contest.
A contest.
It is a contest. And whoever gets to a stage and submits and the judges say that this is the best, you go move on to the next stage.
Does that mean that their culture, their values are not here,
no,
good to be promoted?
No, all of the contestants from the very beginning are valued contestants. But with any contest, you know, there's a process of elimination until you get, because even at the end, we're doing the grand finale on the 27th, and there can only be one winner.
One winner.
One winner. So at the end of the day, even the 10 that are here today, there's going to be a process of elimination. Right now, there's online voting going on. You'll get to get the details from my counterparts on how that is happening. But everything is happening now, where each contestant has members of the public voting for them.
What do we look at? What do you look at during the contest here from each member?
We look at the monologues, and these contestants are given topics where they're required to come up with a monologue. Mostly happening, how it's happening in Uganda. They're going to be promoting Uganda, promoting Uganda in the sense of its beauty, its culture, its infrastructure development, its development in industry, right? So basically, the contestants are given topics, and say, for instance, talk about Uganda's culture. We have kingdoms here.
Yeah, sure.
Right? What we've done during this time, when the contestants are here, we've taken them to different parts of Uganda.
Yeah.
We've taken them to Gulu, where they've met their local cultural leader, and also visited some cultural sites.
Okay.
Then from there, we've taken them to Hoima, where they met with the king.
That is the Bunyoro.
The Bunyoro Kingdom.
The Bunyoro Kingdom.
And they visited cultural sites in that area.
Okay.
Then they came to Buganda. They were in Bulanga the other day. They met with the Katikiro, who welcomed them very well, and then gave them an opportunity to visit cultural sites around Kampala.
Okay.
So they went to Kasubi Tombs. They went to other places like Banda and all the other places where they now know that, yes, this is an organized place.
All right.
This is an organized place. So now, one of the topics that can be given to them is that, tell us how your experience has been with the culture of Uganda.
Okay.
So they come up with 1-minute monologues. The person who gives the best is the one who probably gets more points or impresses their country or members of the public that are viewing, and then they vote for them.
Okay.
At the end of the day, these votes will be tallied, and at the grand finale, there'll be an announcement saying that so-and-so
is the winner.
Is the winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about the winner now, is it going to be an ambassador for Africa? What is it going to do after that, after winning? What next?
Well, this program is not just about the monologues. It's about showcasing Africa. All the contestants, even from the very beginning, are ambassadors of Africa. The 10 final contestants are definitely ambassadors for Africa. They are given an opportunity to be viewed on different platforms, like TV Africa, for example. I'm pretty sure at some point the whole world is going to be able to see these contestants through your lenses over here. So as ambassadors, yes, it's going to happen.
Okay.
But as a result, at the end of this contest, these contestants will participate in creating a short film about Uganda, for instance. Now, there's a short film being made about Ghana. There's also going to be a futuristic show about Uganda. And the 10 contestants here are going to be participating, they're going to be the characters in this movie.
Okay.
It's going to be more of a futuristic movie. And this movie is going to be directed and produced by international renowned African producers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end of the whole thing, there's going to be a real, like one big feature film. Yeah. You can compare it to the Black Panther movie. So it's going to be a futuristic movie to showcase African innovation, African capacity, and also create African role models, African models that you know, there's very few people that are portrayed as African heroes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
The heroes we know, if an African is portrayed in a movie, say from Hollywood, they most likely than not will be portrayed as the villain. so that's what is in the minds that an African is a bad man.
Yeah, sure.
No, we have to have good men out there for Africa, and there are so many good men out here. So we want to do that so that the world sees our capacity to even do things better.
Okay.
And not hand our narrative to Hollywood to showcase that Africa is a backward place. It's a place where voodoo happens and that kind of thing, you know?
Yes,
so,
yes.
And the reality is that Africa is the best place in the world. All we need to do is tell more about our own story so that people know that Africa is not a place to be feared. It's not the dark continent. we need to open that up. Wow. And people should know.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Kanyike.
Well, I'm very, very excited.
Sure.
About this opportunity to speak out.
Okay.
I want everybody to not just think about the 10 contestants as the only people who can talk about Africa. I want everybody watching to be part of this grand movement that is in the offing. Let us go out there and tell our stories.
Sure.
Tell everybody that Africa, especially Uganda, is like where the world started. I think it's like the Garden of Eden, or you know.
Sure.
Because and then we shall see. What I'd like to see out of this is a reverse migration, because we need all hands on deck to build Africa. Nobody's going to do it for us. People who colonized us for 100 years and put us in the quagmire we're in, even if they come today to say that they're bringing handouts, they're not doing it because they like us so much. They're here to plunder. That means we Africans need to wake up and say we're going to take the reins of our own continent and make sure it's developed so that we can all live here. Even our brothers who went as slaves, the families that still live in America and South America and India and everywhere else,
come back home.
We should do what the Jews did to go back to Israel. They should come back home, because this is the real home. And let us build our home.
Okay.
Let us build our home.
All right. You've had it all from the brother here.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we're here to say the story, the African story.
Right.
See you when you see us. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.